Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back with my man Allan. How's it going, Allan?
Hello, how are you? Good?
Good, how are you?
That's good. I'm good, thanks. And you?
How's it? So on YouTube, Peter, who makes the Clojure plugin for VS Code, asked us to do a video on this challenge. The idea is that we make a function called digit search, which runs through this array of digits, and once every digit has been found from 0 to 9, then we return the last number that it was found in. So here you can see if it ran through this, it gets a 5, a 1, a 7, then a 4, then a 3, then an 8, then a 2, then a 9, then a 6, and a 0. So we found all digits from 0 to 9. Then 5057 should be returned. If not every digit is found, then we return null.
Right. Okay. So we've got digits 1 to 10, I guess. Or is it 0 to 9?
0 to 9.
0 to 9. Okay, there we go. There's our digits. And we need to search these integers for each digit. Okay. So I was thinking about this a little bit, and I thought a good way to do this maybe with sets, because these digits are a set of digits, and then these are another set of digits. So we can see if one set is in the other set. I mean, seems easy enough. So I've already converted these to a string so that I can loop through them. Because in Clojure, as I'm sure is in a lot of languages, if you want to loop through a bunch of numbers, it's easy to do it if you make it into a string first.
You can't just convert like an integer to an array. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you can, but it's not. I don't know.
No, dude.
Okay, so ints. This function is going to take in ints, which is, obviously one of these arrays of ints. I want each one of these to be a set, and then I want to do a difference between this set and this set. And just do that over and over again until this set is empty. And then when it's empty, I know I'm done.
The reason why we're doing this problem is like it says here in this thing, it's considered very hard in JavaScript. Like it's super easy in Clojure, so you should have no problem doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Look, there's a reason I've been a junior for 13 years. So let's just play around a little bit. So obviously, I'm just going to get each number now. I want to convert it to a set. So first of all, if I call set on just a number, what am I going to get? Okay.
Exception.
I'm going to get it's not going to work. Because set takes a collection. Okay, so if I just put this, I'm just going to get a set with one thing in it, which is not what we want. So instead of doing that, I've got the string namespace loaded. So we'll split. So let's just test this quick. So we want to split this string. Okay, so there we go. Now we get an array of 1, 2, 3.
So you're basically just splitting it on a blank string, so it just separates
every character.
Yeah, all the characters.
Okay, so there I've got my set. So I can use this to convert these ints to sets. So we can just take this actually, and we can put it right here. We can get rid of that. Then we can use one of those nice, I can't remember those little inline function thingies. Then we can just put the arguments in there. So we can try this. I think we're going to have a problem though. Yeah, okay, so I need to make that into a string. No, my variable is wrong.
Oh.
Okay.
Nice.
There we go. So I'm mapping through my first set of ints. I'm converting each one to a string. Then I'm splitting it into an array. I'm converting that array, or rather a vector. I'm then converting that into a set. So now I've got all my sets. So that's cool. So we want to take this, we'll put it in here. Now that is ints, because it's in the function. So now we want to compare each set to the set of digits.
Okay, you're going to create it from,
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we're getting my vector of sets into the reduce.
It's passing through that vector of sets passing as the last argument to reduce. So The double thread macro? I don't know what the name of that thing is.
I just call it the thingy with two arrows. That's kind of...
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think that's what it says in the documentation.
Yeah, I think it probably is the technical term. What do we want to return? Okay, so our set of digits is going to be getting less and less as we're matching, right? So we probably want to keep track of that. We're going to have to keep track of that somewhere. So the accumulator is probably a good place for that. Okay, so let's do... a difference between... We want the digits as the accumulator to begin with. So here, we'll take the digits, which is not a set yet, so we need to convert it to a set. Okay, so now, first iteration, this is going to be that set of digits. This is going to be 5175, but as a set, right? So then we want to check the difference between these two. Let's just test this. Let's see what happens if I do this. Okay, so we've got our digits returned, and there's some missing. Yeah, nice.
That's cool.
Seems like
Nice work.
something's working. So we we called reduced on the first iteration of reduce. So that means 5175 should have been removed from the set of digits, right? So that seems right because there's no 5s, no 7, no 1. So that's cool.
You have like all the remaining digits.
Yeah, so that seems to be working. Okay, so now we just want to carry on through the reduce until next is empty. So we can just say if it's empty, if next is empty, then reduced. If it's not empty, then I guess we just return it for the next iteration. Okay, so now we get an empty set, so that's cool. So that means it's reduced down until the set is empty. So it's gone through all the numbers, it's found all of the digits. Okay, so the problem said once our digits have all been found, we must return the number we are currently on. So the number we're on is it. We're on it. So instead of returning next here, we'll just return it. Right? Okay, seems legit.
Nice.
We got a set back. Okay, yeah, so we converted this stuff to a set in the beginning of this function. Sets don't allow duplicates. That's why we're getting 750. They don't allow duplicates and they don't keep order. So the numbers have changed order and we've dropped the duplicates.
Same but different.
Yeah,
Like,
so it's the same number, you know. We want the integer that hasn't been converted to a set. One of the things you can do with map is you can pass in multiple collections, and then the mapping function will get one of each collection as an argument. If we pass in the ints that have been converted to sets and also the ints that haven't been touched, we should get both. We'll just do a quick little demo. So there you can see 1 and 4.
So every iteration it takes one of each.
Yeah. So then, and now we want a vector of vectors. So what we would do, we can just kill this and we go like that. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. The reason it was a list in that example is because I used that and in the arguments list. And that automatically converts all the extra arguments to a list after the and.
Oh, okay.
But what map is doing is passing 2 arguments to whatever function you give it. So what's happening now is map is going to get ints, and then after ints, because of the thread macro, it's going to get the set of that int. So then it here, I mean, this is going to be a vector now. So let's just run it and see what happens. I imagine things not going to work properly. Okay, so there you can see I haven't found anything. That's probably because I'm trying to do a difference on like a set and a vector, which it doesn't make sense. So we'll want to destructure this. So I'll call the integer I, and I'll call the integer that is now a set is for integer set. That's very nice naming. So now here we want to do a test on the set here, but we then want to return the integer. So let's see. Aha, okay.
Nice, cool, okay.
So now we haven't modified that at all. We're just pushing it through our functions and we're just returning it. The problem also said if we don't find all the digits, we must return null.
Yeah.
Right? Let's just run all of them through here. Whoopsie. Okay. Okay, so there we go. So the first two are cool. The last one, we've got 1 and 0 left. We haven't found digits 1 and 0. So how can we convert this to a null? I guess anytime we haven't found anything, we're going to get a setback.
Yeah.
That sounds funny. It's going to be a setback. So then we can say, okay, let's just convert the set to a null. That means I'd want an if statement. I want to go if this thing is a set, return null. Otherwise, return the thing.
Yeah.
I've got a thread last
Which
macro.
would be the integer.
Yeah. So I've got a thread last macro, so I can't really put an if after the reduce. So maybe what I'll do is I'll create just a function up here. We'll call it set to null, because that's what it does. Oopsie. S for set. So then we'll just go if set. If S is a set, return null. If it's not, return the set. Okay, so now we should be able to just add this to the thread macro. Okay, I think that should do it. I think. Yeah.
So the first thing you're doing is the let fn is basically just binding. It's just like an anonymous function, but you're actually binding it to a variable.
It's the same as a normal let. It's not the exact same, but it's very similar to, like if I just did this.
Oh, okay. It just allows you to not have to declare it as like a function inside the binding.
It's a bit of a shortcut, I guess, because
you don't have to do the fn. That's what I meant.
Yeah, you just do the name. There's no fn, and you can assign them, or rather you can create them in any order. Like if I do this here, and then I do another function, and another function, and then in F I try and call A. That won't work. I'll get an exception, because it won't have been defined yet. But with let fn, I could call A in F.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. I like let fn. Whenever I only have functions in the let block, I always try and use let fn.
Cool. Okay.
So
it's an interesting solution.
So the real work is being done by difference.
Yes.
You know, it's without difference there'd have to be, I think, more loops. Definitely more loops. Well, I mean, sets are very common. You know, people use them a lot in Clojure, so it just springs to mind quickly.
So I'm also going to try this now. I'm going to try it in JavaScript. The problem says that it's a bit of a tricky. It's a bit of a tricky one in JavaScript, and I think that's because it was probably made before the ES6 syntax. So I'm going to try and do this as IE6 compatible as I can. So the first thing I want to do is also make that digits array. Well, the numbers to find. I'm going to call it numbers to find array. Cool. Make a for loop here to populate it. I is 0, I is less than 10, and then I plus plus. And then we'll just add I to the array, like that. Numbers to find should be all those numbers. Numbers to find. No digit search. Okay, cool. We have our array of numbers to find. So then I'm going to make a function called digit search. And that'll take our ints as well. And then I'm going to loop through the ints. So for I is equal to 0, I is less than ints dot length, and I plus plus. Then we'll have our number would be, let's going to be this like this super verbose. Int I. Cool. So this is the number that we want to check. Then we'll do. We can pass this to string, and I'll convert it to a string. And then we can run split on that. And this will be digits, actually. Digits. Cool. And then we want to loop through the digits. So we'll go for j is equal to 0, j is less than digits, j plus plus. And then we need to see if numbers to find dot index of, say, digits j.
Looks,
this won't work.
Looks funny. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So then if the numbers to find has that number, then we want to remove it. So we'll go numbers to find dot get splice. Take this out of here, and we'll say for index is equal to numbers to find index. So if there is an index, then we will remove the index. Splice, I think, mutates the array.
I think it's likely. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it mutates it. Let's see if it works before. I don't want to get too cocky about it working. Yeah. Okay. And here's our bug. Digits.length.
Ah, yes, of course.
And run this. Boom. Then we can see once numbers to find is empty, then we want to just return another number. Okay, so this index of won't actually work unless this is also a string. So we'll make those strings. We need to say if the index is greater than -1. And then we'll say if the numbers to find dot length is equal to 0, then we can return our number. And let's return null if it didn't work. And then I think we should have it. Yes.
Check it there.
Too easy.
So it's just like, it's got the I and J loops. It's nice.
Yeah, it's you know what the beauty of this over Clojure is that you can just copy and paste this in your browser and you got it.
And it's done. The problem is solved.
Except for problem 2.
Okay, that's...
Oh, this is the problem with mutation. Yeah, so we're going to add this thing to our function. And there we go. Boom.
Check it there. Amazing. I'm surprised you didn't have to go async await somewhere.
I could have. Yeah, but it's interesting. I don't think the problem is hard to solve. I think the problem is hard to solve. No, it's definitely easy. We saw that. I think the problem is hard to solve nicely in JavaScript.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that makes it kind of suck is the looping.
Yeah.
When you're doing a bunch of nested looping, it becomes a bit confusing and it never looks that great. Even if you did this with functional style looping, with reduce or map, it still wouldn't be great because you still need a bunch of loops.
Yeah, you just nest anonymous functions inside and inside them. It would still look a bit weird. It would look nicer than this, but it would still not look great.
Yeah, that's why the set solution, it at least removes one level of looping. I suppose you could also just hide it behind other functions. You could just define a bunch of functions.
Yeah.
And then the function that calls them all would be a whole lot neater. But it's definitely not a very hard problem.
Yeah, you could use sets in JavaScript, but then you also then you're going into ES6 again, and it's what?
Do you get sets a native thing in ES6?
Yeah.
Or do you get them by a library?
No, they're native. So if I ever run into this problem at work, I'll use it in the set solution.
It'll be like, see which digits are in this price.
Cool. Well, cheers, dude. Thanks for doing the video. Have a good evening, and till the next one, hey?
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here waiting till the next one. I'm just ready already.